Our modern world runs on invisible connections. From smartphones to spacecraft, everything is powered by a tiny, silent engine. Deep in the heart of this technology lies one of the most complex inventions in human history, the semiconductor chip. It is hard to believe that this journey begins here with a humble grain of sand, specifically silicon dioxide. But we don't just use beach sand. We start with quartz, mined from massive quarries around the world. These rocks must be excavated with extreme care. We need silica of the highest possible purity. Even a trace of impurity can ruin the final product. Once mined, the rock begins its transformation from a raw mineral into a technological marvel. It starts with purification. The first challenge is heat. The quartz is loaded into massive electric arc furnaces. Here, giant electrodes blast the rock with temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees Celsius. Working here is like standing on the edge of a volcano. The oxygen is stripped away, leaving behind metallurgical-grade silicon. At 99% purity, this silicon is good for steel, but for chips, it is still basically garbage. We need to go further, much further. So, the silicon enters a chemical battlefield, is crushed and turned into a gas called trichlorosilane. Through this complex maze of pipes and distillation towers, we refine it at the molecular level. We are filtering out impurities atom by atom. This process runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Finally, the gas enters the Siemens reactor. Inside, pure silicon deposits onto superheated rods, growing slowly over many days. The result is polysilicon. Purity 99.9999999%. These gleaming rocks are among the purest materials ever created by humanity. But the atoms are still chaotic. We need order. It is time to build the crystal. We load the silicon into a pure quartz crucible. It is then placed inside the Czochralski furnace. Here, it is melted down again at 1,400 degrees. This is where we add dopants, like boron, to define the electrical properties of the chip. A single, perfect seed crystal is lowered until it just touches the surface. As it is pulled up and rotated, the atoms align perfectly to the seed's structure. It grows into a massive, single crystal. The result is an ingot, a single crystal weighing over 400 kilograms. It is heavy, valuable, and incredibly fragile. We crop off the uneven ends and grind the body to a perfect cylinder. A small notch is cut to indicate orientation. Now the slicing begins. Diamond wires saw through the ingot, creating hundreds of wafers at once. Each wafer is thinner than a sheet of paper. They are washed and cleaned. The sharp edges are rounded off. Finally, chemical-mechanical polishing creates a mirror finish. The surface is now atomically flat. Ready for the fab, we enter the clean room. A place cleaner than an operating room. In the photolithography bay, the lights are yellow to protect the chemicals. Automated robots transport the wafers on the ceiling. The patterning process begins. We apply a light-sensitive liquid called photoresist. Spinning forces spread it into a perfectly even layer. It is baked to harden. Now it acts like photographic film. Enter the EUV scanner, the most complex machine humans have ever built. Inside, extreme ultraviolet light bounces off ultra-flat mirrors. It passes through a reticle, which holds the blueprint of the chip. The pattern is projected down and stamped onto the wafer. This happens hundreds of times a second with nanometer precision. Next, we develop the image. The exposed chemicals wash away, revealing the circuit pattern. But this is just a drawing. To make it permanent, we etch it. Hot plasma bombardments carve the pattern deep into the silicon, creating millions of microscopic trenches. The protective layer is removed. The first layer is complete. Now we activate the transistors using ion implantation. We blast the silicon with ions to change its electrical properties. This turns the silicon into a switch, a transistor. But they need to be connected. We deposit insulating layers and coat them with metals like copper using sputtering. Copper atoms rain down to create conductive films. Sometimes we dip them in electroplating baths. We polish away the excess, leaving only the wires. We build a complex 3D maze of wiring, repeating the process 50, maybe 100 times. Lithography, etching, deposition, over and over again, is like building a skyscraper on the head of a pin. Transistors in the basement, highways in the sky. After months of work, the wafer is complete. But does it work? We must test it. Thousands of needles touch the wafer, sending electrical signals to every single chip. The results are mapped instantly. Defects are marked to be discarded. The wafer moves to assembly. Using a diamond saw, we cut the wafer, separating it into individual pieces. These are the dies. We pick the good ones and place them on a board. Now we wire them up. Microscopic gold wires connect the silicon to the pins. Then, we seal it in black epoxy for protection. A laser engraves the name. And finally the chip is born. Tested against heat and cold. Packed and shipped to every corner of the globe. To become the brain of your computer. From a grain of sand to the heartbeat of our modern world.